And welcome back to Sports Matters. I'm Rob Similcare. If you're a Knicks or an Indiana Pacers fan, you may remember this guest we have on with us right now, Jonathan Bender, who played for both those teams as a swingman in the NBA. Nice to have you here. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's talk about your story a little bit. You were one of the early guys to go straight from high school to the pros, something that you couldn't do now, the way the NBA is set up. Let's talk about that, and how was that transition for you, going straight from prep school to pros?
I would say it was interesting, at the least. I'm from a very small town, so I never saw anybody do anything like that or anything close to that. So I was the first person that I knew of or my family knew of that made that type of leap. And it was a lot of excitement around it. A lot of people were involved. And at the time, I was very young. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I was excited about basketball.
You were a pretty big deal coming out, 5th pick in the first round of the 1999 draft. You obviously, had a ton of promise. When you look back on your NBA career, how do you feel it went? What were things that went well? What were the things that were obstacles for you?
I think, I made a good transition as far as, being able to, come into a team that had veteran guys, and I think I was mature enough to be around those guys. I was becoming my own before the injuries. I was starting to, get comfortable with practice. A lot of my exciting moments and a lot of my growth were in practice, trying to translate that over to the court. In the midst of me making that transition and transitioning over to the court, that's when the injury started.
Do you think it's a good thing that the NBA has made it impossible to make that jump straight from high school to the pros? It's now that 1 year in college, which Adam Silver, the commissioner, has said he'd like to turn into 2 years before they can join the league. What do you think about that?
My question is, why? Is it really for the best interest of the player to go 1 year? Are you really forcing them to go to get an education, or are you forcing them to go to mature more? Because if you look at other sports, you got baseball, you got soccer, you got tennis, they still come out early, right? So why do this in basketball? Is it a thing where you want to keep that talent in college, to keep that whole atmosphere, exciting? Or what is it? I really don't understand 1 year. I understand making them go 4 years.
I guess, the NBA must think it's in their best interest somehow, right, to have slightly more mature guys in the league. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have changed the rule. They don't really care that much about, I would think, about the college game. They care more about their league. So do you think it helps the NBA?
I think 1 year. One year, that's really, I mean, look at Kobe, you look at LeBron, you look at KG, you look at all these, Jermaine O'Neal,
they all did
Tracy
okay.
McGrady, these were faces of the NBA at some time. So all those
guys who made the jump,
guys, right? So you can't really look back and say, okay, the majority of them failed. No, because the majority of them succeeded and were superstars in the league.
Let's talk about your post-playing career a little bit. A lot of guys have a hard time making that transition from professional athlete to whatever is next. You've obviously succeeded. We're going to talk about your business and some of the products you have. But before we get to that, how have you managed to make that transition as well as you have from a playing career?
It's very tough, I tell you. And the transition, it never stops. It's almost like when you first started playing basketball, you started and it took a decade from when I first started touch the ball to get to the highest level of basketball. So I'm not going to come out here and disrespect business and think I'm going to create a product and just blow up in a year or two. So it's been a learning process, but I got some great people around me, some great mentors, and I'm progressing.
So your business is basically a medical rehab and technology business, JBIT MedPro. We got a couple of your products here. This right here for joint pain therapy, something I'm sure a big guy like you who's had a playing career can relate to.
Absolutely.
Joint pain. Tell us about this product and what it's all about.
So it's a lower extremity pain relief device. So anybody with low back issues, hip issues, knee issues, suffering from arthritis in the knees and things like that, this device will help alleviate that pain, take the pressure off, and redirect that pressure to the muscles to give them some sort of rehab within their movement.
You also have something here that's an energy supplement, Algae Up, protein energy?
Yes. We did a deal with ISGP, and created these algae-based protein supplements. Algae is 70% protein, and I just think it fits well with what I'm already doing when I'm addressing joint pain. So also for this MedPro, you know, we have a special offer for ex-military. So if they go to our site at JBIT MedPro and leave a message on our contact form, you know, I just wanted to say that we have some good offers for that.
That's fantastic. You know, it's an interesting space because you see more and more sort of regular people, right, who are not professional athletes, maybe not even college athletes, doing some pretty intense physical things now, triathlons and marathons and, you know, endurance races of all sorts and types have become a lot more popular over the last 10 years, which is a good thing, I think, for people's health, but I think it's also leading a lot more people into doctors' offices with problems like this. Is that part of what you were thinking when you went into this business?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, everybody's going to have some sort of joint issues one day. Right, I don't care, you know, it's a lot of people that haven't trained at all before in their life, and they get to a point and their legs are aching, their knees are hurting, and they wonder why. And a lot of it has to do with muscle engagement, and this is a device, a tool that can really help them to get back to a point where they're feeling healthy. So.
You know, we were talking about the transition from player to post-career, and the stats are unbelievable. A 2014 study showed 78% of NFL players, 60% of NBA players, and also a large percentage of Major League Baseball players file for bankruptcy within 5 years of retiring. I've seen this stat a number of times over the years. I'm sure you have a lot of guys you played with, you know, who have been through this. Why do you think those numbers are so high for ex-athletes?
I think it's a point of, you know, the reinvention stage. That's what I think a lot of us fail to get involved with and do. If we could play the sport until we were 80, you know, it wouldn't be a problem. But, you know, living a certain way and then all of a sudden, you know, it's over and you have to figure out from scratch what to do to get yourself back, along with all the things that you're already dealing with, the family, you know, your primary family, all the obstacles that are in the mix. So it's a lot of things to deal with.
It helps to think about this stuff when you're still playing, I'm sure.
You got to reinvent. You got to reinvent early, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's a process.
Well, one thing that you could do when you were playing in the NBA was dunk the basketball. And we just had the NBA All-Star game here in New York, of course, the dunk contest, which was a good one, I think, this year. But you had some success in the dunk contest, at least one dunk that I think was a pretty good one. We're going to take a look at right now. Talk about your time in the dunk contest back then and what you think of the dunk contest, where it's gone since then.
Back then, it was very exciting. You know, it was my first time being on the stage, and I didn't exactly know what I was going to do. I didn't sell my dunks a lot. Everybody say, well, you jump on the free throw line with your left hand. And I didn't sell it. You know, I don't think a lot of people realize that I did that with my left hand. And
here it is right here.
Yeah, I didn't sell it.
That was legit.
As you called it, Dan.
Was absolutely a legitimate free throw line dunk.
Yeah, but I didn't sell it. I didn't sell it. So
you were very low key. You're right. Very chill.
Yeah, very chill with it.
This is about showmanship, the dunk contest.
Absolutely.
Maybe you should have jumped over a car.
There you go. See, it's gotten better now. Guys bring out cars. Guys come out singing. You know, it's a whole show now. It's interesting.
How much do you miss the league and the show and all that? It's got to be a tough thing to walk away from. Not many people get to experience being on a stage like that.
I mean, it was great, and I always think about it, but I also think of the things I have to do to continue, you know, the rest of my life. So, you know, I try to focus on, you know, what I'm doing now, but it always creeps in my head every now and again, and you know, I work out and keep myself in shape, and I still play every now and again, you know, just to touch the game a little bit.
Boy,
so it's always going to stay with you.
The Knicks, one of the teams you played for, have they called you? Because I mean, I think they could probably use you. I don't care if you're 5 years out of the league or not. Yeah. You look to me like you could help that team.
Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah, understatement of the show. I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
Jonathan Bender, thanks a lot. Congrats on the business. Good luck going forward. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming by.